Because obviously China very much interested in this election. We've heard China, China, China from Donald Trump, and of course Hillary Clinton known for the pivot to Asia. So both of these candidates have already made themselves familiar to China. Let's check in with Tian Wei.
Yes, indeed. As you just said, China and the Chinese are very interested in the election because it's going to have a lot to do with the U.S.-China relations, one of the most important bilateral relations in the world today. I'm joined here once again by Mr. Yang Xiyu from China Institute of International Relations. Well, sir, you just see the electoral vote for the two sides. Hillary Clinton for so far 97, Trump 129. Of course, things are still coming in. But whoever is in the office, is that going to make a lot of difference to the U.S.-China relations, particularly U.S. policies towards China?
Well, for Beijing's point of view, just like a very famous saying, too big to fall, China-U.S. relation is too big to be changed dramatically. That is the consensus among Chinese. Actually, during the past 2 decades, Beijing has witnessed quite several campaigns. We have realized the sophisticated differences between the presidential candidate said, what the difference between what they said during the campaign and what they did in the White House. But on the other hand, between the two candidates this time, obviously, I think there are very different focus they take. For Hillary Clinton, just you mentioned, pivot or rebalancing strategy will be continued if she wins. However, if Trump wins, I believe no pivot, but something new also against China. The two persons will focus on different areas like security for Hillary Clinton and trade for Trump.
For the rhetoric during the campaigns, Mr. Trump was talking about look at China as a currency manipulator, bringing manufacturing jobs back to the United States. These are going to echo very well with some of the voters in some of the so-called Rust Belt states, for example, Ohio, which is now in very heated competition between these two candidates. What do you make of their pragmatism, the level of pragmatism, once it comes into the going to be very different from their rhetoric? If that different, will the voters be able to accept that?
Well, I think such wording in the campaign will have real influences in their policy making. However, if he becomes the president, he has to be responsible for the huge volume of bilateral trade because it's an international course. If you got sanctions on China for whatever reason, then he will get backfire from China. So he has to be cautious.
And now we're looking at the newest number coming in, 104 vis-a-vis 129 between Secretary Clinton and Mr. Trump. The electoral votes, that is. Having said that, though, it also has a lot to do whether they're going to exercise what kinds of China-U.S. relations policies with the legacy they have from the Obama administration, Mr. Yang.
I think there are two basic legacies left by President Obama. Firstly, the matured top-level exchanges mechanism. For example, from President Nixon in 1972 to Obama administration, there have been 8 American presidents. The 8 presidents met Chinese top leaders 47 times in total. However, President Obama met among the 47. He met 26.
But is that going to make a huge difference in terms of nature of relations?
The frequent meeting mechanism contribute greatly, firstly, to the stability of the bilateral relation, no matter what events happened. And secondly, the frequent top-level meeting contribute greatly to wide range of cooperations, meanwhile control the sensitive and the sharp differences.
And Mr. Yang, as we all know, this is a very dirty campaign, and it's one of the lowest, as many Americans even agree, during their history of presidential campaign. Having said that, though, whoever in the office will have a lot to heal for the nation, and also the rest of the world looking at them, the United States of America, and therefore, how much of U.S.-China relations is going to be on the priority list, whoever is coming into the office?
I think by the huge problems domestically, the upcoming U.S. president will put top priority to the domestic issues. So importance of China-U.S. relation will be a little lower done before. The chance and the challenges both for Beijing and Washington D.C.
Opportunities and challenges all at the same time.
Yeah.
Indeed. 104 and 129, that's what we are looking at when it comes to electoral vote differences between Secretary Clinton and Mr. Trump. And now back to you in Washington, D.C.
All right, Tianwei in Beijing.